have to do now is make sure that Collier and Company hires Gwen. Now that Ethan doesn't have a job until his contract is up, he should be furious and frustrated that Gwen is making more money than he is. Not to mention the fact that she's choosing to work instead of being a full-time mother to his daughter. I guess it won't be long before Ethan does leave Gwen, comes back to me, brings Jane with him.
What is it now, Catherine?
Don't talk to my sister that way.
Stay out of this, Rachel.
Listen, can we please not fight?
And what's going on?
I'll tell you. Your father and I are trying to plan tomorrow's ceremony when Catherine and Rachel come back knowing full well I don't want them here. Every time I turn around, I find Catherine lurking, waiting to make another desperate play at Martin.
Catherine and I came in here to have a sherry, and your mother started right in on us, demanding that we leave. Only you don't live here, we do.
Honey, listen, it's no big deal. The ceremony has everyone a little on edge. Things will be calmer after, tomorrow.
Well, of course, Papa. You two are renewing your vows tomorrow in front of friends and family and God. And then everyone will know that you two are committed to each other for life. Oh my gosh. You know what I just realized? Mama, you gotta stay here tonight. Papa, you've gotta stay at your house.
Why?
Why? It is bad luck for the groom to see the bride on the day that they say I do to each other.
Oh, my God, you're right.
Yes.
You're absolutely
yes,
right.
Come on, let's go, Papa. Out of here. We can't risk you being here past midnight.
Well,
Come on, let's go.
Martin, may I speak with you just for a moment before you leave?
What about?
Whatever it is, I am sure it can wait till tomorrow.
Not so fast, ladies. Please, sit down. I insist. You comfortable?
Yes, quite comfortable.
Good. Because I think you should enjoy this feeling. Because the next time either one of you tries to come between my parents, I won't hesitate to throw you out on the street.
There's no need to be rude, Teresa.
Well, I think I'm being nice, actually, considering I'm the new Mrs. Alistair Crane. Right? Which leads me to my next point. We have all had Alistair. Or shall I say he has had us. So I deeply empathize with the two of you. Now, Catherine, you are Julian and Sheridan's mother, and you are their aunt, so your family, you've got every right to be here.
Thank you, Teresa.
Of course we do.
Yes, you have every right to be here, as long as you respect my wishes. Simply leave my parents alone. Do not come between them. If you do, I won't think twice about having you both shipped back to Boston in matching pine boxes.
God, that's an awful thing to say.
Oh, it's fair warning. You leave my mother and father alone, or else.
Yes. And Catherine, one more thing. Remember to be someplace else other than here tomorrow. I mean, I can't imagine that you would like to see Martin take me as his wife again.
And you could keep your sister company.
Yeah. Rachel, do that.
Shall we?
Let's go, Mia.
Okay. Good night, ladies. And please don't forget to turn the lights off before you leave, because unlike the two of you living here, electricity, it isn't free.
I have to say that was very smart of you to have your father leave this house. Now, I know Catherine won't be able to make a move on him every 3 minutes.
Well, Mama, you cannot be too careful when it comes to the man that you love. Now, if my history with Ethan has taught me anything, it's that you've got to fight fire with fire. And if you love Papa...
I do.
And you want to be with him...
I do.
Then I suggest that you go upstairs and you get a good night's sleep. And tomorrow, you will be the most beautiful bride who has ever walked down that aisle.
You're absolutely right. And Teresa,
Yes.
thank Thank you, Mia. Thank you for everything you're doing so that this day will be so special for me.
Of course, Mama. It's my pleasure.
Oh. Okay.
Let's go. Sleep well. It's an order.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you. Good night, my angel.
Good night, Mom. That's right, Mama. When you love someone, you do what you have to do to get them back, no matter who gets hurt. Yes, may I speak to Mr. Collier, please? This is Mrs. Alistair Crane calling. I understand it's late, but he'll take my call if he knows what's good for him. Mr. Collier, I'm so glad that I caught you.
Will this take long, Mrs. Crane? My wife's furious that I worked so late tonight.
I just wanted to personally thank you for agreeing to interview Gwen Winthrop tomorrow.
Yes, the headhunter insisted I meet with Mrs. Winthrop. I must say her resume looks impressive.
Wow, I am so glad that you think so. Because Gwen is smart. She is savvy. She's a real workhorse. Now, once you hire her, well, she can stay late, freeing you up to be with your wife and your family.
Excuse me, Mrs. Crane, but I didn't promise to hire Mrs. Winthrop. I agreed to meet with her. Jobs at my company are hard to come by. Unlike Crane Industries, people enjoy working at Collier and Company. So we have a very low turnover rate, especially at an upper management level. Frankly, I don't have room for Mrs. Winthrop right now.
Well, then you'll have to make room.
Excuse me?
I want you to hire Gwen Winthrop. And you will. Starters, Gwen Winthrop is more than qualified to work at Collier and Company. Now, I assure you, once you hire her, you will be glad that you did. I mean, I cannot say enough wonderful things about her.
If Mrs. Winthrop is so fabulous, why don't you give her a job at Crane?
Well, that's a long story. Let's just say that I am doing Gwen Winthrop a personal favor. Payback for all the things that she's done for me over the years.
Your generosity is duly noted, Mrs. Crane. What's in it for me?
If you promise to hire Gwen Winthrop after your interview with her tomorrow, then I can personally see to it that Collier and Company is awarded every Crane contract that you bid on, whether you're the low bid or not.
I must say, that's some payback.
Well, I'm a firm believer in payback, Mr. Collier, especially when it comes to Gwen Winthrop. Well, Mr. Collier, do we have a deal?
Absolutely, Mrs. Crane.
Pleasure doing business with you. Oh, and remember, not to say a word of this to Gwen. Let's just keep this our little secret.
Gladly. The amount of money my company will make from doing business with Crane will more than cover Mrs. Winthrop's salary.
Wonderful. You get back to that wife of yours, because nothing is more important than family. Well, this is interesting. Different. Having money and power to get what you want. You can pay people off, like I did with Collier. And you can intimidate them, like I did with Catherine and Rachel. Well, tomorrow Mama and Papa will be renewing their vows, and Gwen will be hired to do a job that's going to take over her life. And knowing Ethan, he's gonna want Jane to have a full-time mother, which is where I come in. Which will lead Ethan and our daughter back to me.